All right, welcome back, guys. Today we're going to look at my climb to Guardian. You can see up at the top there. I'm right on the money, 1700. We're still early in the season. But we'll take a look at the matches and talk about the pick ban and just kind of break it down a little bit, kind of what's going on out there in the meta. So there's 15 matches here. I believe I go 10-5, which is a little bit above my average. And, that's kind of what it takes to get a little spike in your rating. There's some kind of bad mistakes by me. There's some good choices by me, and, that's just RTA. So let's take a look at the pick ban. This is an interesting one. I've been trying to do the Molong Harmonia more, and there's a couple reasons for that. The first thing is that with the new event, it really kind of put into perspective what's going on with my speed relative to everyone else. And this was probably the case beforehand, but basically, 1 in 16 people got a quad roll on one of their event runes. So technically, there's people that got a quad roll on both of their event runes. Or even high triple rolls, 24s are really, really high. 124 is tied for my second fastest rune, and anybody that gets a quad roll immediately has as many quad rolls as I do. I have 1 quad roll total. So if you got 1 in 16, you're immediately tied with me in terms of overall account speed, roughly. And let's say you're like me and you already had a quad roll and you got a second one. Now you're 100% faster than me. So what does that mean to me? I don't think competing with speed is my best option now because there's so many more monsters that have high base speed that mess with cleave. And so I'm decided to, I'm not going to compete for that elite level speed. I'll still be fast because I don't want to not take enough turns, but I don't feel like it's smart to try to take turn 1 all the time in light of how many people are just going to be faster than me. Like, imagine if, 1 out of every 16 people times 2,500 people in Guardian, maybe times isn't the right word, but there's going to be hundreds of people faster than me after this event. And there were probably hundreds of people faster than me before this event, let's be real. So that's my overall philosophy, just to get that out of the way. All right, looking at his team, he took Tyrannus, which I always want Tyrannus now, so sad. I took Molong Harmonia, just to give him a threat there. He picked Arda Hathor. I went with the anti-Hathor team that I have currently, which is Amelia Josephine. If I had a Juno, I'd run a Juno. I'm debating going with a Fire Monkey because I do have a Fire Monkey, but I haven't quite been brave enough to try that yet. So I'm still going with Josephine and Amelia. And it seems to work pretty good. He went with Bulwark and Sierra, which makes me sad because I should have gone with Bulwark. I should basically never put down Amelia without putting Bulwark also because they're going to pick Bulwark. So then I went with Jean because he has no immunity. And we banned Bulwark because I'm going to put up a million buffs. Which is funny because he banned the thing he's countering with Bulwark also. Alright, so we get right at it. The Jean already doing work. We're going to speed it up just a little bit here. And we'll talk about some interesting things that happen. Basically, the taunts is putting me in a really, really good position to start. And just, lucky sleep on the Sierra. Slow down just a scotch. There goes his Hathor doing nothing. That, if you can get them to put a Hathor on half your team, it's like half a Hathor. And if you can get them to make that play that only makes their Hathor half effective, who would draft a Hathor that says sleeps 50% of the enemy units? Nobody. So if you can put them in that position and they make that choice, you're already way ahead of the game. And then he had the bad luck in that it didn't sleep my Harmonia, which has a little bit of resistance, but not enough to mess with a Hathor. So that's a win. If you can get that to happen, that's a win. Just as a note. And we're all in on the Sierra because I feel like Sierra's the biggest problem. I feel pretty good about that Hathor. I believe this is the one little bit of lag in the video, but I think it gets much better from there. So I think we'll be in good shape. I don't know why I didn't cleanse the bomb there. I must have cleansed something different. Or I'm just bad. I don't know. Anyway, it's going great. He's got no Sierra. I've got sustain and, yeah, all kinds of good things. So that's our first win. And we start in the mid-1600s. C3 is a pretty big chunk of what I've seen playing these days. And a lot of C3s are secret G1s, which I kind of was for a while. And what I mean by that is that there's people that are C3 ranked in the top 2,500, which is G1 at the end of the season. So don't be discouraged if you're fighting some C3s. You're like, man, I lost to them. Or, oh, I kicked their butt. Like, there's a big range. There's G1s all the way to real C3s and maybe even some C2s. So just as a note. All right. Same kind of deal. Same exact choices. The only decision I made at the end was the Verd, and I wasn't quite sure. Sometimes the last pick, I'm not sure. I feel like I've made a good last pick if they ban it, because that means I picked the best possible counter in my opponent's eyes, which in theory, they know what counters their team, and I should know too. So that's kind of my earmark for good last picks. The reason I picked that is because I'm looking at the AoE skills. I know that Savannah is AoE, I know that Wunsa is AoE, and my Vert is triple revenge. So he's going to be stealing turns off turn, and anytime there's multiple AoEs, he's a pretty good choice. My only issue here is I only have one healer in the Harmonia, and that stresses me out a little bit. Good last pick. They banned the Vert. I banned the Savannah because Savannah is OP. Like, it took me a while. It took me a few losses to Savannah and the blue one, whatever its name is, to realize, oh, this is like a Hathor level threat. Like, in what is it, Spider-Man 2? This is an Avengers level threat. This is a Hathor level threat. Don't look at her and say, oh, look, she's got a kitty. That's adorable. No. They will wreck your day. Those Beast Riders will wreck your day. So treat them as such. Like, I almost feel better facing Hathor than I do facing Beast Riders. Alright, so he gets the full sleep. And what I'm counting on now, what my comp is waiting on, in that he has no Ganny, is I'm waiting to proc. I'm waiting for my Amelia to proc. I'm waiting for my Harmonia to proc. Anything with a cleanse needs to proc, and then I'm set up against Hathor forever. Not there yet. It takes a while. But my Josephine's doing great. And in terms of counters, I like what she's up to. She's giving me shields. She's taking almost as many turns as Hathor is robbing with those counters. Like, look at all those turns. They're off turn and they're off counters, but they're doing a full team's worth of work from one unit. It's fantastic. And now I get my immunity up. I'm feeling wonderful. Yeah, he stripped it, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's gonna come back. She's a pony now. We're good. Or she's a human now. She's not a pony. Sierra's down, and we just start getting to work. And we're feeling good. I think I have a Hathor, and I mess around with bringing a Hathor, but I almost would rather fight Hathors than to bring my own, because there's just a lot of options against them. I keep going back and forth. I'll give her my runes, I'll take the runes from her. I'll give her my runes, I'll take the runes from her. And I know she's the top, but if you're not playing pure Ganny Hathor, like Chiwu Sierra double speed lead, I don't know that she's the tippy top. She's not that fun, so it's hard for me to invest heavily in her unless her win rate is way better than what I'm getting, which has not been the case. I feel like she's not a very good win rate unit for me. But hey, look, speak of the lady, we're going to bring her in. What I've played with back and forth is first turn Hathor and second turn Hathor. And so I went first turn for a while on Swift. She was like 305. But any speed lead, and immediately she's not a first turn. So this is a second turn Violent Hathor. So we'll see how it goes. In terms of the draft, some really good stuff going on from him. Oh yeah, I remember this one. The Ganny Daphnis is a fantastic combo. It's just Daphnis nonstop, which is brutal. Because it's hard to kill Daphnis right back after he kills you. Like, it's hard to get instant revenge. And then he's got the must ban in Barbara, whose name I now remember. And then he's got other problems like Diana. Like, when you look at a Diana and you're like, that's not my biggest problem. That's a bad match. Like, I brought the Antares, but man. And then the Josephine, I'm like, I'm not going to be stunning. I don't worry about it. Maybe it's an anti-Antares. I don't know. A good anti-Antares unit is actually Bulwark, because he procs all the time and he gives you heals. Just as a note. Alright, so I banned the Ganny because I'm like, I've had too many times where I've been Ganny Daphnis, but he bans the only counter I have to Diana, the only good counter. So we'll see how it goes for me. Yeah, so this is, I think, a case of me being not very smart, because I just let my unit get killed real quick. Like, why did I pick Platy at the end? I should have picked anything that could survive that turn. I opened myself up to the Daphnis. So I'm going to probably lose this in a lot of situations, but in terms of the pick ban, I put myself on the back foot by not picking a unit that can handle that. You know, what would be better? Tyrannus, my Triana can take that hit. Yeah, there's options. Lots of options. And I picked a bad one. I don't think the draft was bad. I think against this guy is real bad. He is all out offense, just wrecks into you until you're sad. And I'm sad now. So easy win for him, I would say. I'm sure he would agree. Like, he didn't have to fight for turn 1, and then he just murdered me turn 1. So, GG him. I'm still trying to figure out how to use my Daphnis exactly. It's ruined pretty well, but it's like, it fits weird in this real tanky comp. Okay. So, let's look at what's going on here. He first picked Hathor, so I wanted to get my million there. Might be a little risky not getting the Bulwark as well, but I think the Harmonia is probably my best ruined healer. and I'd like to go into every match with the Harmonia Bulwark healing, I think. I've got a couple other options, but yeah, that was kind of my thought there. Then he went Triana and Sniper, and I'm like, Sniper, okay. So I put in Tyrannus, which is anti-sniper in so many ways, because he can't snipe the Tyrannus because it's wind, and you snipe something and Tyrannus will bring him back. So I was happy with that. I was like, yeah, that's smart. And then he brought in Akia Fran, which gives him some other sustain, gives him a nice attack buff for the Sniper and immunity. But he picks Fran into Bulwark, so I'm like, okay, that's okay. And the Akia I'm not a fan of, because that's a direct counter to the Tyrannus, which is a counter to a Sniper. So I'm like, we can't have that. So I ban out the Akia. He bans out the Amelia, which I find a little curious. I guess he's banking on the Hathor getting stuff done, which is fine, but then he lets the Josephine through, so the Hathor is still kind of half-countered. I count an Amelia as like 80% of a counter to Hathor. I count Josephine as like a 50%, so maybe he's thinking he'll snipe out the Josephine and then I'll have no counters. I don't know. We'll see. All right. He gets the nice buff there. Snipes out the Bulwark, but he's back. And we're healed up through Harmonia, and we're back to full stacks. And we're really eating that Triana. Here comes the full sleep, and Josephine's back at it. One thing, I don't know if people realize, or that just doesn't come into play, but like, Josephine can't glance. So if you use her first skill, you're doing pretty good damage on anything. So I don't even sweat it in terms of wind or whatever, as she gets sniped out again. But we're able to get the Triana down through a combination of bulwarking and slowly Josephining. So feeling okay. I've still got the Tyrannus, and my only real threat on his side in terms of healing is Fran. And how many times did that thing snipe? The one thing I think he might have been considering with his Sniper is that it can snipe through damage reduction, so the shield. I thought about that halfway through the match. I'm like, that's kind of smart for dealing with a Josephine. You can go right through the shield. Unfortunately, it was just too squishy to matter, so we ended up winning there. But there's some stuff going on his side. I was like, that's not bad. Because if you're going to bring in a Hathor, you have to bring in threats. And you got to figure those out quick. All right. So, Leona. Yeah, she's a problem. I always got to bring in 2 counters. And this is kind of 2 counters. It's got the Bulwark Molong, which can just murder her. And then the Daphnis, which I think also murders her. He brings in the Diana Odin, which I'm not a fan of with all my water and all my buffs. But, you know, not going to love everything. I just ban out the Leona. Like, no. We can kind of counter the wind units without having to deal with that mess, because she is just a mess. He bans the Bulwark. My only healing is Harmonia. This, I feel like, yeah, there's some problems here. Going after the Druid, in my mind, I was like, oh, I'll one-shot it, and then I'll kill it with Bulwark. But then I Bulwarked into it again, and, like, it's just living forever. And I'm not. So, yeah. I feel like there were some targeting mistakes there. I could have gone after the Triana right away, maybe. I don't know. I didn't like my play choices there. My draft I thought was okay, but then that Odin's just unchecked completely. So maybe I should have brought in some control or something. But this is not looking good for me. I think I'll speed it up a little bit. I don't see this as being a win. Sometimes I play things all the way out just to see what'll happen. With Tyrannus, I feel like you have to, because, you know, one violent proc can bring a unit back and then kill something. But I was like, how much can this Harmonia tank? And, you know, when you start Dianaing into fire, you know you've lost. So yeah, he's got me there. All right. Next up, I like pausing it at the pick ban, because I think that's really important, and then any meaningful strategy decisions midway I think are important. Okay, so we do Molong Harmonia last, which is kind of interesting. Bulwark's still in there. Buff-wise, we're real light on buffs, but he's heavy on buffs. We knew that when he picked the Ileana and the Amelia, so it's like, okay, let's get the Bulwark in there. Because he'd probably pick it himself if he could. And then the France, like, he's all buffs. He's all buffs. Just that Vampire's no buffs. So feeling good about that. I ban out the Antares, because I'm like, that hard counters my Diana and messes up all my stuff. So I don't want that. Kind of hearing some weird audio. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So what's going on here? We're all in on the Amelia. And already feeling great in terms of how low that Amelia is. Gets the kill real nice and easy. And yeah, we're on easy street now. We haven't even used Harmonia yet. So I'm not sure what he could have done there. It was just a bad kind of a sequence of events of how my team is designed to kill you, and it worked. So yay! That's what I want to happen. I want to snipe and have a ton of HP. Snipe and live forever. Those are my plans. All right, J-Train Express. Oftentimes when I see a Vanessa, I assume Beast Rider, because Vanessa Beast Rider is broken. Didn't end up happening. I still went with the Hathor. These couple matches with Hathor, I've been sticking with it. I'm trying to figure it out. I ban the Sierra. He bans the Daphnis. You'll notice this sort of team is light on immunity, which is not horrible against his current team, but it's not good against Sierra. So what have I got here? 3 supports and Daphnis. I'm like, okay, we'll figure out a way, right? That's possible. But if I remember correctly, I lose. So I think he keeps the Daphnis up, Just lives forever. I'm already on the back foot here, having to play res games with my Hathor, who's probably useless, but I need her just in case I get a little hole in the immunity to punch through. But he's got double immunity, double cleanse. That's not great for Hathor. I mean, that's how I try to counter Hathor, so he's doing it to me. And it's not hard. Like, the Fran, those things live to proc. So I'm like, I gotta get rid of this somehow. So I start targeting the Fran. They're usually pretty easy. I get most of a Hathor off, but you'll notice, just like my advice for beating Hathors, look at that. One little sliver. I only sleep 2 units, and that's not good enough. We're so close. We're so close a couple times. So, I don't know. It's debatable strategy-wise if it's an issue. But, I'm not able to punch through a Fran. So, that's bad. This is a play error going in on something where she had a cooldown up. I should be paying more attention to the cooldowns and know what's going on, but I did not. So, that's an error. Could have put a whole bunch of damage on something else. Yep. And now I'm back to catching up. She's back, though. Like, I have a shot. There's a couple paths to victory here for me, but the fact that he's still up is not great. Though the longer the match goes, it kind of powers up Tyrannus, but it also kind of powers up Daphnis, which, I want the Daphnis to be powered down. I can't kill it either. Look, I killed that thing once. Cooldown on my Druid, I believe, is the death sentence that ends the fun times. Because he's a little bit slow, so if he's cooled down, that's bad. He's got so many things he needs cooled up in terms of, like, living. And, yeah, there it goes. So, great job by him. He lapped with the Daphnis, cooled down the Druid, and just executed. Really a nice little way to kill a Druid there, if you could punch it through. So, props. I feel like that's GG. Nice little quad stun for me. I'm like, well, maybe. And then, no, not so much. Not so much. So GG him. I think that gets him up to 1700, so that's always nice. All right, I'm facing against WGY Cool. Still trying to make Hathor first pick work. I feel like it's just sort of muddy waters for me with what I want to do after it. So I might even derune her. I don't know. It's not quite working the way I want. I bring back in Daphnis, especially after that last Daphnis game. I'm like, Daphnis is great. Do you ever have games like that where, you get just murdered by a unit you have? You're like, oh, I know how to win. I'll play that unit all the time. That was me. I was like, oh, that's how I win. So in terms of Hathor counters, he's got the Juno, and yeah. He's got the Diana, he's got the defense break, and yeah, that's bad news. Look at that. I think he's just going to murder her. Yeah. He's doing what I want to do, except I think he's got a slightly better counter with Juno. And it's nice, kind of. It's nice to see my plan against Hathor work against my Hathors. It's just like, why do I bring Hathor then? She is, she's a known commodity. People have been working on her forever. And so I feel like maybe shouldn't bring her. Me, anyway. Some people, maybe not me. So we're feeling okay here. We traded Hathor for Juno. But then Diana just murders again, and we're behind. Gosh, we're so close there. Watch this. Oh, it's that proc. If he hadn't procced on Harmonia, I'd have a fighting chance. Because it would be Molong, Harmonia versus Tyrannus, Bulwark. Which isn't great, but it's way worse than them having a Diana up, right? So there's a couple little options, but I was definitely behind. Like, there were a couple options for a comeback, but it wasn't super likely. Like, when he saw that Diana down and he had to proc, he was probably like, man. But then it worked out. So sometimes that works for me. Sometimes it works for them. Just random. Okay. So we were fighting Ohu, I guess. And we're like, ugh, Hathor, we hate her. So we get rid of her. We go back to something that we want to use in Harmonia. First pick. And of course we immediately see Hathor. So we pop up our immunity. And my final choice here, he was so water heavy. I felt that I had to go Tyrannus to deal with the one-shot potential. And then Diana's just fantastic against all that water. So my other decision was, should I go with another immunity monster? Because he's got a lot of control. But I decided against it. I could have gone Josephine. Might have been a little bit like safer. But I decided to take this approach. Ban the Bird, because, yeah. Alright, so we already used a half Hathor against me. And it only worked once. Why is my... Oh, well. It only worked against one monster, so I'm feeling good about that. Now we're already back. Oh, Diana, she's hanging tough. Doing some work. Didn't quite die to the Molong, which is pretty awesome. That means she has more health than the Molong, I guess? And then he's like, no. As soon as I heal her up, she's like, no, we're not doing that. Which, I can respect that. Move on, you know? If you know it's not a chance. I play for the long game, and so I like to see how it works. Especially with the Reviver. Like, could work. Didn't work the first time, but it might work again. You never know. All right, this guy, this team he's drafted, it's fast. It's going to go first with the Sierra and the Ganny and stuff. And then it's just all stuff that just blows up. I picked the Leo Verd at the end, which I don't often do. I'm like, oh, I'll slow it down, right? I feel like it does not work at all. He's full shield will. Cools me down because my Harmonia is on Nemesis. So that is an instance of Nemesis being a poor build. It works sometimes when they're doing cleavy stuff, but if they're doing Ganny stuff, it does not work. And then I'm pretty sure we just lose here. Yeah. The Leo Verd, I haven't quite figured it out as a counter. It doesn't seem to work for me. It just feels like it slows me down. So, and I let the Beast Rider through and horrible, horrible things. What did I ban? I don't know. It just didn't work. But, you know, sometimes you lose. It's that kind of thing, I guess, works against me. I don't know. In theory, I should be able to tank that out, but it was well ruined. All right. So, kind of interesting. We've got sort of a similar team. It's a turn one. Use Daphnis a lot. Use Shihu. Abuse his LD, which reduces cooldowns, and then it's a command unit. It gives him a full turn. And then the Rika at the end, he's like, oh, he has no immunity, so I'll Rika him. And same thing. I'm like, oh, he has no immunity. I'll Hathor him. And yeah, I think I cancel that out. He lets the Hathor through. I'm like, yay. Maybe I'll get to Hathor or something. We'll see. Bam. Oh, she's doing her job. So that's nice. Keeps Hathor alive. Hathor keeps herself alive by resisting. Good job. And now it's Diana time. Hathor gets off on... Should have been 3 units with her accuracy, but we'd miss on the Bastet. That's, I don't think, horrible. I mean, we'd prefer otherwise, but, you know, she's doing her best. What can she do? They're not sleepy. Her sister's not sleepy. Alright, so now we're working on the only unit we can damage that isn't asleep. Skill 2 sleep works. And we're back to Diana-ing like crazy. There it is. Tyrannus finishes it off with a big hit. And now we're just trying to control anything we can. I like the double attack break. I thought that was kind of fun. Just as a thing that happened. Oh, wow. My cat just headbutted the mic. Sorry, guys. If you heard that, that was the sound of a cat. And now I'm blurry. What did I do? Oh my gosh. Hey, there we go. It was an adventure. Okay, so then he sees what's going on and he's done. I'm trying to go kind of quick on these, but there's just a lot of matches here, and I feel like there's a lot of choices that need to be discussed. That's the whole point. All right, Tyrannus first pick again. I like Tyrannus first pick. He picks one good counter, one okay counter, and then I pick counters to win. He's got double immunity. All he's got going in terms of damage is Diana and, you know, hating on my Tyrannus in this segment. So I feel okay. I've got the Diana counter. It's just a matter of will it work. He gets the full reset, gets all the immunity, and I start eating Diana health. Bulwark's really good for that. Bulwark's really good for that. Especially if they're playing Protect the Diana with multiple forms of immunity like he is. I feel like okay about that. There we go. I'm back up to full. Speed it up a little bit. That was a bit of a mistake there. I did the AoE. I probably should have done the single target to not power that Diana up. But then good things happen and yeah, we're done. Like, there's no real reason to do the AoE. It wasn't going to heal him. It wasn't going to stun anybody. I probably should have just pushed it onto the Diana. No reason to give him free attack bar. All right. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. And I'm just like, I'm going bread and butter, you know? I'm banning out the OP unit, and we're just going to try to tank this mess that we're dealing with here. Verd Ethna is, that's going to be tough. Verd Ethna Sierra is, like, real tough. But I'm like, okay, if we can get rid of the Ethna, maybe we have a chance, right? Because she's the counter to all my blue stuff. Sierra is sort of countered by my immunity, you know? Whereas the Ethna is just, I think, going to run wild. She's just going to cycle into that skill 3 over and over and over. And that makes me sad. And I don't want that. So that's my plan. Got to kill the Ethna. I don't know how I killed that other unit. I was going too fast. I apologize. Apparently I had an idea to kill that other unit. So now he has no sustain, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. He's still working on my Druid. Druid procs into a massive hit. When it crits good. So now we're feeling great. We're 3 on 2. We've got 2 healers and an immunity unit. He's going to take a million turns, but I feel like I'll be okay. I don't know. It feels good. Gets a stun there on a full stack, which is not ideal, but not horrible. Man, look at him take those turns. But now we're going to just start eating chunks of health. We'll eat that chunk. We'll eat that chunk. And now we're good. Like, we know we kill this Verd as soon as we get a turn. It might take a while to get a turn, but we know we kill it. And then, yeah, it's just a matter of time. So that's a win. Felt pretty good, I think. Well drafted, I think. On both sides, really. Just kind of worked out in my favor. All right. Tyrannus first pick again. I'm like, hey, Tyrannus, why not? Ooh, Gaining Hathor. I'm like, okay, let's try to counter it. That's what I got. Oh, God. Oh, God. So, this is all bad. I picked the Verd because it's the anti-AoE, and we've got the AoE in the Gianna and the Savannah. I don't know why he picks... I don't know. The Gianna, I understand. The Savannah's a little bit funky in that it's best as an AoE, and he's got Hathor in there, so I'm like, that's interesting. I ban out the Gianna because I don't want him to be able to just take all my immunity like that, and also I don't like those bombs. Those little bombs and her getting attack bar like crazy, it's frustrating. And it's very effective single target. So, I don't know. I let full Gaining Hathor in. That didn't do too much, which I feel good about. That did, though. I got the nice revenge there. We're going to try to protect the bird. We're going to start trying to dismount this darn thing. If we can dismount it, I'll feel much better about my life. He cools down the immunity, which I could, smart. I don't know if maybe the Josephine would have been better. I don't know. It just depends on how the attack bar would have worked if he could have still slept the Amelia. And now my Josephine gets back to work, as she likes to do. You can't sleep her. She's Josephine. She just likes to hit you with her mace. That's her favorite thing. And so we're still trying to dismount this thing. Oh, we're so close. There we go. Nice counter. But you see how she took half my health? Like, what? My Josephine's a tank. Are you kidding me? Half my health? Ugh. Those darn things. Alright, so we switched to the Mina, because we're like, we can kill a Mina. And, yeah, feeling pretty good. And I was like, wow, we beat Gaining Hathor with Josephine, Verd doing nothing. Basically just Josephine. It was just Josephine just murdering something. Alright. Oh, I remember this. This was sad. So he is picking basically what I wanted to pick, like the last couple seasons, where it was like full damage, take turn 1. He didn't have to pick a second bar booster because he can evaluate my team and see, oh, that's slow. I don't need the second bar booster, which is nice. That's a nice little variant he can take. I'm not so sure about the Garo Kali. You'd almost think you'd do... I don't know. Anyway, the Kali's his second attack booster. So I pick all the things I hate, all the things that counter me when I used to do this sort of thing. I didn't do this exactly, the AoE version. I did the one at a time version. But I pick Molong, Nemesis Harmonia, Tyrannus, and, Vanessa Triana. Like, this is a full team of 5 counters against this whole business. We banned the Lucian because it's the highest source of damage, and that it ignores all the defense for everybody. And we're like, let's go. I mean, if he can win this, he'll win so many matches, because I picked nothing but full counters. The Kali doesn't kill, because I designed my Harmonia to not be killed by that sort of thing. We balance on the Julie, which is okay. It's okay. It's not the highest health, but it's the unit I want to kill first, so that's why I balance on the Julie. I want to kill it. So that's the plan. Julie does basically nothing. We put the res up and now defense buff. The Nemesis procs. We get the heal. And I just went for defense break there because I was hoping I could just murder it. But we've already got one of the murders done, which is good. Get rid of that Julie. And now I'm just trying for little bits of CC. Like I'm hoping for sleeps on random units. Working on the Bastet just because it's defense break. And I don't want it to get another shield up. And he's slowly chipping away on the Triana. And I'm kind of out of tricks. So as soon as he finishes the chipping, Triana will die. Get the kill there. And now we're working on the Kali. He gets the kill on Triana. Start eating. My thought there was start eating health off the Garrow because we know we can one-shot that Kali. And we do. And that is that. We get up with that win up to 1,700. Here's our current stats for the season. Haven't played a ton of matches. 190 matches. We are at 58.4% win rate, which I think is really good. Better than last season by a long stretch when I played more like that last guy I played for first turn. Single target. So, yeah. I think the plan here is we're going to grind it out like crazy. Well, we're going to grind it out as long as it's fun. If that's 2 matches a day, that's fine. If it's no matches a day, that's fine. If it's 12 matches a day, that's fine. I don't think it's going to be 30 matches a day ever. So we'll play while it's fun. We'll see if we can't push up a little bit. Ideally, I'd like to get above 1,800 so that I could just sit back during the horrible Smurf week when all the people that are better than me play in 1 week and eat my points. That'd be the only way I'm going to get Guardian this season. I don't know if I'll keep it or not. But maybe. We'll see how it goes. The win rate means I should be able to keep it if I play. I just, it's a matter of playing. So, that was a whole lot of info on how my matches went in my little Guardian climb. Those last 15 matches. So, out of 190, a little under 10%. You got about 10% of my total wins, about 10 wins. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're playing something similar, I hope it was helpful just in terms of the talking through the pick ban strategy. Hope that was useful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.